first thing I need to welcome Kira, who's new as an associate member. So thank you for joining us. And at 7 o'clock, we have Mallory DA, 25 West River Street, installation of an irrigation wall.
Yes, that's me. So
Mary has something to read first.
Yes, I do.
And then we can hear from the applicant.
Lauren may be trying to get in on this account and she's trying to sign me out. She's not good. Great, I may have to call her. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act that the Upton Conservation Commission will hold the following public meeting on Wednesday, August 13th, 2025 at 7 p.m. An RDA filed by Joseph Mole, there we go, good. For the installation of an irrigation well at 25 West River Street. All interested parties are invited to participate.
And thank you. Now, Joseph, we can hear from you about your project.
I'm so sorry, I couldn't quite understand that.
Go ahead, you want to hear?
Oh, surely. I've been a resident in town for 16 years now, but actually moved a year ago to West River Street. And the former homeowner, for economic reasons, had not installed an irrigation system at the property. And it's a larger area to water. Municipal water is out of the question. I'd be banned from living in our favorite town forever. I think if I consumed that much water. And so really, as crazy as it is, and I do have plans here, if anyone's interested, basically no matter where we put the well, we're trying to dig an irrigation well, and hopefully there's water. The well data, there are wells all around the area, and it varies, but it should be feasible, hopefully. And long story short, there's no way to water anything on the property with the municipal water system in terms of the quantity that we would need. So by default, our only choice is to do a well. As crazy as it sounds, no matter where we look at the property, we are infringing upon some sort of buffer area, whether it be septic, wetlands, property bounds, etc. The only place that was feasible pre-construction of the home is presently where the driveway is now, the top of the driveway. And so what we did is I had some local companies come out, some engineers, etc., and determine we do have a walkout basement with electrical service. Mary has pulled it up on the front of the home would be, kind of where where Mary's showing you. So this would be on the right side of the home where the walkout entrance and electrical services is to not have to trench all over and disturb too much of anything. This would exclusively be for irrigation, not for, domestic consumption at all. There's really no alternative I have at the moment to water the lawn and shrubs, etc. And we take a lot of pride in it. I spend hours and hours and hours out there, as Mary knows, every day, trying to walk around a few sprinklers that I can hook up to the house, which isn't doing much. So I hate to see the whole property die off, and that's why we're here today. We've looked at numerous locations, and this seems to be the easiest and most logical, contingent upon everybody giving thumbs up. Now, did talk to the well folks, and precautionary measures are always taken. Specifically here, what we'd be doing is digging several containment pits in and around where the well site would be. And then we're also putting up a silt fence in case there's any flowage, beyond a large radius. The scale here, it's kind of hard to tell. It's a pretty significant distance. You can see just off on the very fringe of the page where the wetlands are. Candidly, I'm not sure. I mean, we do have the little stream it's dry now, but come springtime or there'll be some water in it. But the area around it, candidly, I'm not sure is wet. But you know, I'll take the delineation as it is. Just so everyone knows, I'm work on the commercial side and delineate wetlands for for my job, so very familiar with the process. But there's no cat's tails, there's no normal signs, but regardless, I wouldn't be disturbing any of that. We are very much, as Mary knows, rule followers. I had one or two large trees that were leaning significantly towards the home, but I wanted to get proper approval before we took them down. And so had Mary come out, I documented everything, pictures, etc., followed her orders. So I'm here to do the same, just want to make sure that I'm doing everything above board and, you know, happy to answer any questions that are within my depth here. But it's pretty simple, just so everyone knows, you can see the septic out in the front. And we're staying clear away from that. The vehicular traffic would be off the page. The driveway is kind of bottom left, and they'd be going to the right and around the perimeter of the property to access the well site.
So they're going around the bottom here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we can't go anywhere with that heavy equipment, go to the septic or anything like that. And so actually, when we moved, we took advantage of the perimeter too, and we're able to load stuff directly into the basement. We're doing the same thing. So that would be doing the same thing here, but it would only be one truck, and we'd have several containment pits still. It's very flat. I did send in some pictures. We have it staked out. Please excuse the dead grass in the pictures.
Stake is tree.
Yeah, the stake. Sorry, I meant to put a flag on it. And you can see the proximal, how proximal it is to the electricity in the basement area there. So pretty vanilla. There's really no significant hurdles to jump through. The truck would just come in and drill, and hopefully we hit water.
Why is there an issue putting the well there? Like, what are we
So
talking about?
this infringes on the 100-foot buffer zone from the wetlands.
Okay, from
Yes.
the wet, okay.
It's a little over 50, so it's well out of the 30. He has a 30-foot no disturb on his property and some bounds back from when the house was built.
And it's in the lawn.
But it's in the line.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
fine.
it's in the middle of the lawn.
Yeah, he's just before us, Adam.
Well, I don't want to do anything I'm not allowed to do, obviously. And if I recall in my own research, I don't think I'm allowed to put a well here because it's within 100 feet. So that's why I'm here this evening. Yeah.
Mary, what are your comments?
As he said, it's within previously disturbed area, it's in lawn. It sounds like his well driller is very familiar with the containment pits and
Oh, yeah.
the silt fence, and that would be the only concern, just kind of the tailings going in a bad place, or the well truck going where they shouldn't go.
Oh, and they are also going to dig a channel towards the house
Okay.
for when they do hit water, for it to flow that way.
Okay.
But he said the containment pits, it will be several pits that are 6 by 6 by 4. I didn't realize how deep they went. So they're digging a couple really big holes, I guess.
And where do those go?
They're going in between the well site and the house. Like if you're looking at as it sits right now on the left side of the blue apple, but very close to it.
Okay, but the land pitches away from the house, right?
It's flat where that is now. It doesn't pitch until we get a little ways over to the right. Then it pitches down.
Maybe you could zoom in a little bit on that.
Oh, on the plan.
It's really kind of big there.
I have one question on the plan. What are those brown circles?
That's my dead lawn because I don't have any water.
I think she's talking about on the plan.
Oh, those are hole punches. That's okay. No, if
How
I
deep are the holes?
pardon me. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So
Those aren't contour lines I'm looking at?
Yeah, right over there, right
Yeah.
beside.
Yeah.
the dashed dotted lines are the light gray lines
So
Where is?
sloping towards the back.
it's sloping away.
Here, why don't we do this?
Hey, Tom, these gray ones, that was the original like grade, and then these ones would be the final grade.
I know, but
Oh,
So you're looking at that, you're looking, these
okay,
ones.
yeah, because he's saying and it's,
Yeah.
it's not.
So these ones are here, probably the 277 down to 273, they graded that and put the wall in.
Okay,
yeah,
And then-
that area where the
Okay,
arrow
so-
is
Yeah.
flat.
good, no, I just worried about,
Completely understand, and
Well, it looks like there's maybe, it's, you can see here, it's relatively flat. So
yeah, it,
Where in the picture is it going?
right.
If you can see
Right there.
Right
where
there?
the mouse is,
With a
And the
little.
pitch-
Sorry, I meant to put a caution tape on it, that's my, I apologize.
there, right there.
in the pits between that and.
On the left side of
Yeah.
that, yes. And then we are putting silt fence, several rows of silt fence on the right hand side.
Okay.
Just to remind us, the pits are to contain the water that.
Water and any debris within the water, you know, usually it's just rock, if they hit bedrock, there might be some stones and things like that.
And then they'll fill it.
They walk me through, however, I have to replace the lawn. But yes, they will backfill it, and then hopefully we hit water. There's a wide range from a few hundred feet deep over to over 1,000 feet deep, which I can assure you not doing here. So we'll hope for the best, I guess.
What is the setback from the septic system?
It's the same buffer. Now, we are outside of that location here. Outside of the septic buffer.
Okay,
I believe
what is
it's-
the septic buffer?
I believe it's also 100.
Okay.
So no matter where we put it, you're within, we were doing the measurements. Despite where the property, you know, the larger area of the front of the property, you fall within a buffer for something. And
You have to be out, you have to be 100 feet away from your septic.
yes, we are here. So this was kind of candidly, there was quite a bit of thought and analysis that went into this, more so than I anticipated, as to where the logical spot would be. And so I'm repeating now, I don't know this for a fact, but according to the well diggers, they said there's usually, you know, much more scrutiny and much more sensitivity as it pertains to the septic. So they wanted to make sure they stayed as far away as possible.
Do you have any other questions from the commission? Or the audience?
I like that.
Hearing none. Mary, what's your recommendation?
I recommend that we issue a negative determination of applicability 3 and 6. And I had written on there that containment areas to be constructed. And equipment, if possible, must stay out of 30-foot no disturb zone, which I think they will,
Absolutely.
so.
And as a courtesy, as I always do, as I've done in the past, I'll document everything, photo document for and submit to you, just so you have.
Okay, thank you. Joe, do you have any questions for us?
No, you all have always been so kind, you know, going on 16 years now, and you know, we're just very grateful to have you and be in the town, and hopefully we stay here for a very long time.
Thank you. And would you like us to close your hearing?
That's a yes.
Yes.
Yes, everyone's nodding yes. Yes.
From the commission, do we have a motion to close the hearing?
So, second,
Let's do a voice.
I'm sorry, I do have one quick question, I just remembered.
you should have waited.
I know. My wife is smacking me in the head. I do know that obviously we have to get the well permit from the Board of Health. And I, as wanted to be precautious, talk to the Board of Health. They do want to know that you were okay with this. I don't know if there's something I need to furnish to them, or you talk to.
Yeah, well, once I give you the paper permit, you can give them a copy.
Copy, okay.
I can also I can.
And is that just-
Copy.
Digitally issued, or is that
No,
somebody
unfortunately,
pick it up?
you need to pick it up because there's an original
Okay,
signatures.
just give
I'll
you whatever
let you- Yeah,
instructions.
I'll let you know early next week.
Yeah, I mean, and in case anyone was wondering, I don't know if time of the year is impacts anything. But this would likely be probably mid to late September. Hopefully sooner, but seems to be where the schedules are working out for.
Now, from the commission, let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
All mine.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I. Shannon, I.
Okay,
So Chris, just to clarify, you guys motioned to close the hearing. We need to motion to issue a negative determination.
We have a motion to issue the negative determination.
I move.
Second.
Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
All mine.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I. Shannon, I.
Okay,
It's a unanimous vote of the members present. So you're all set with us, and Mary will let you know when the permit is ready.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
is Marcella on?
Marcella is here, but maybe let's see.
You muted her.
Just raised her hand.
She looks like she's not like in as a,
Uh,
Such your well guy when he's, not when he's busy, not when he's slow.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marcella. Your hand up.
yeah, there's Marcella.
Marcella, I saw your hand up. Do you have a question? Marcella, you have a question?
No, I just wanted to be let in.
Okay,
Sorry, Marcella.
there is no. So,
The open space, we measured it about 2.25.
so thank you. We're all in, and so we're ready for,
You're, so you can leave it.
okay.
Nobody ever wants to hang out. Thank you all very much. I really do appreciate it.
Meeting.
Thank you so much. We all have a good evening. Thank you.
okay, let's do the administrator's report.
All right, you just pull up my agent report. Being slow here.
No.
All right, just a few things to report on that I do not have pictures of. I had emailed and it's been 3 weeks between meetings, so it seems like this was a long time ago, but I think this was after the last meeting. I emailed the state about the erosion gully behind 42 West Main. And they quickly got back and they will be going in there to fix the issue. They're gonna put some check dams in and put some gravel in the gully, and they would like to work with a neighbor about fixing their property as well. So that was good news. They quickly got on it. Thank you, Bill, for giving me the right contact information. And then the New England Power Order of Conditions that we approved last time, I issued it right away and the state got back and said, no, we really want to see the temporary alterations from all those mats that are going in on every single wetland. They wanted to see that quantified in the paperwork. So they had it listed on all their maps, the amount of alteration that it was the temporary alteration. So I added it all up. I asked the consultant, does this look right? He said, yes, except for this and this, and we fixed it and I sent it off to the state. So this has been reissued as a correction. So it's actually a different form. So we may wanna, we probably should vote that we did this. I mean, the state asked me to do it, that you guys approve this correction to the paperwork.
You already did it, right?
I already did it, yes. With the state.
What if I don't approve?
I know, with the state, yeah, that's true.
You'll be off the board.
It just seems performative.
Yeah, I know, maybe we don't need to vote on it, but the state called me and said, you need to fix this.
Yes, and I'm glad you did.
Yeah. So, just letting you guys
I'll
know.
make motion to endorse Mary's changes to the,
Let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
Aye.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Shannon and I.
my comment.
Marcella, I.
It's a unanimous vote of the commission. Thank you, Mary, for doing that.
Yeah, I think we talked about last time, Poirier had a complaint about beaver dams on his property. And Mike Moran went out there and he's like, well, it's our beaver dam's on town property. He wanted us to get rid of our beaver dam, but he said there's a closer dam that's on your property. So he needs to take care of that first before.
Which Poirier is that? Follow Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. John,
Any
John,
infrastructure?
I know where.
Is any infrastructure being threatened?
for his
Wells,
house.
septic, ways.
I think it's more getting into his backyard. That was the complaint.
Last time it's just that his backyard is wet.
Right, yeah, and the dam is on his property, so.
Now, he still has
So
to
is-
file, right? If he wanted to get rid of that, he still has to go through all of the
He should
legals. Does he know that?
Emergency, I should remind him. Yes.
So he can arrange with the Board of Health to have the weavers trapped
Right,
if he wants to breach it.
we would have to do those. Yep, that's right. Because there was 3 weeks in between meetings, there wasn't a lot going on. I talked to every single outstanding enforcement person, either emailed them or called them, and half of them didn't pick up the phone. But hopefully we'll get some movement on at least a few of those. Then the Robinson Trail Bridge is finally going out to bid next week. And I think I wrote in there there is gonna be a site meeting for that on September 9th at 10 a.m. and the bids will be opened September 25th. So it's exciting. And then we got an email from Mark Savigny. He's a SBT volunteer and he's gonna be doing the conservation restrictions at Kelly Parcels on Friday, doing the monitoring there, if anybody would like to join him. Or if we have any concerns and don't want him to go that specific day for any reason, we should. All those things. All right. And then for site visits. I went out to Kiwanis Beach, if you'll remember, they were supposed to put in a bunch of plantings. And they are now trying to get their dock. We looked at the plantings, a bunch of plantings did go in, they did not put the proper size trees in. We had asked for 2-inch caliber, 10 2-inch caliber trees. And they had 5, 1.5 foot tall trees. So unfortunately, unfortunately, it's been dry, so some of the other plantings, which were the correct size or whatever, all the bushes, they're struggling. The homeowners, are kind of struggling with what to do with this in-between zone. None of the plantings went in there. I suggested that they could put additional plantings in there, maybe try to get some ferns established. They're hoping, I told them they could pull weeds out of there, but not to mow any grass. So, yeah, he was gonna contact Marcella, who's the contractor, just to kind of, because there was never a report on the plantings or anything. So just to find out what's going on.
So we're gonna wait for them to give a report on that, is that what you just said?
Yeah, I mean, I think, they've done half of what they should have done at this point.
And we signed for them.
So we have $6,000 of theirs sitting in the bank.
Piece of it, well,
And he hasn't asked for the release of any of that yet. I mean, we were supposed to give him 4,000 after the successful planting and the initial report.
And we asked him to replant in the fall.
Yeah.
They have to
They
do,
replant and.
I mean, if eventually then it doesn't, we can use the bond to do that.
Right,
Cause look at that property, look at the neighbor's property,
I know, sorry.
And I did want a $10,000 bond, just for
Thank you, Tom.
just for the record, that was my thought.
And it's a lot, it was good to see that some of the trees that had been cut they are leafing out.
Sprouting.
They're sprouting. I found evidence of lady slippers in there, and that was nice. I tried to show the homeowners all the nice things they had with the lady slippers and there's some nice winterberry or wintergreen, trying to encourage them that it's lovely natural vegetation.
Yeah, it's hard to see that now. It's-
Right, yeah.
Tell me again what you said about his wanting to weed. What weeds does he want? He
So,
starts weeding, he's gonna
No.
start with me and then. he's
I know.
gonna start-
So, well, this area here, this is the area that they had disturbed the soil. And so I
This
had
is the
told,
front, right? Or is this?
no,
the
this
back?
is
still.
still,
back.
this is still the back, so. Do I have another picture? No, it's not.
I mean, if you wanted to plant blueberry bushes or something, I think that'd be fine.
We did talk about putting blueberry bushes in here and ferns, cause he was like,
That
I'm
would
like,
grow
you can't
in,
mow it.
right?
You know, if there's, I was thinking like sometimes of these ugly weeds that grow tall, and it's just like a 1 year thing, it's not gonna live anyway, it's not like a plant that's gonna establish itself. I told them they could pull back, and there was some, they do have some
Ask him
goodies.
to identify the weeds he wants to. pull.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and
it's-
well, they had greenbrier, they asked to pull the greenbrier, I said, I could pull the greenbrier.
That's what I mean. just-
Yes, yeah,
They
they
say
need
to
to
be
be,
sure you can weed it, they're gonna,
and they,
everybody
because
has
they
a
really
different
want
definition of that.
their dock, I think that's part of his reason for calling me, is they really wanna put a dock in, so. You know, he has to go through us to put the dock, he needs to do a determination for that. And we did talk about, he's like, well, where am I gonna store my dock in the winter? So, anyhow,
Yeah, I mean, that's
right.
not my concern.
Hopefully it's gonna help us to rain today, at 7:45.
7:30.
Yeah, so that's. So that's what's going on there. I mean, if the board would like us to do a little bit more, we're kind of like. He was gonna contact Marcelo. I mean, I can try and contact Marcella. At the contractor and my question for Marcella is, are you gonna follow through with this, or should we just start spending the bond? That's basically the question. Are you gonna actually do this? You did part of it. Are you gonna fix it? Are you gonna have your wetland scientists come out and document what's been done?
Yeah, he's not, it's gonna cost more than $6,000.
That's not contingent, the dock isn't contingent on any of this.
I like that.
No, no, I bet he needs the dock. Dock permits take 6 months from the state, but he does have to come through us for the dock. Yeah,
This one.
I know, and I think it's difficult, like if we end up doing plantings, like the watering and stuff.
Yeah, he needs, the planting needs to be done in the fall.
Yeah,
He needs to water it.
yeah,
Well, if you can't water it, though, you can't water. I mean, if you can't get water to it, you can't water.
and actually, we have a notice of intent ahead of us next meeting. I didn't realize it's Marcel who's doing this next notice of intent, it's across the road.
Oh,
I haven't looked at the project yet.
Can you put it on the thing and talk to him about addressing this too?
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, so we can add this to the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it'd be good for him to appear before the board and you guys can.
What am I talking about? Just. Well, I mean, he. You know, he figuratively told us, to go. Pound sand with the stuff when he was doing it,
Right,
and then when he does it, he didn't do what was asked of him.
right.
In my opinion, he clearly has no interest in doing what is asked of him.
Yep.
Now he wants to bring another project.
Yep.
Right, yeah, well. He can do that.
Okay, let's move on. We don't need to spend all day on this guy.
Right, I was out at 93 Crockett Road, they're almost done with the house. This was kind of a pre-occupancy permit inspection, everything looks really good here. They're gonna replace these bricks, but everything looks pretty good in terms of the lake and everything.
That deck is very pretty, huh?
Oh yeah, yep,
Very.
very lovely house. This is 99 Crockett Road. They're finally getting their septic system in. It had been sitting open for months. Looks a lot better. It looks like they're doing, if you guys remember, the neighbor here had a lot of concerns about the runoff, and it looks like he's really put a lot of dirt along the fence to prevent the runoff from going onto the neighbor's property, and installed a dry well. It's not done, but it looks like hopefully this will work in terms of causing the, fixing the runoff problems there.
How many houses, is this like almost at the end of the road?
For Crockett,
Yeah, 99.
not quite. There's 105. There's a few more past that.
A few more, like, this is like 3/4 of the way up that last hill.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely on that, as you're going up that hill there. It's definitely on the hill. Very steep down to the lake there. And this is where it's not so steep. 71 Crockett, since I was on Crockett, I visited all the ones. This is where they had 2 houses on the property and they're replacing with 1 house and 1 extra building. It's looking pretty good. I know they were having issues with dewatering earlier in the season, but it seems like it's pretty dry now. This is the replication area for Sawmill Brook Lane. You had me out there to look at it. He planted, so. Hopefully it's planted by now. It's really dry though. And we'll be waiting a report on that one too. And he's got all the house lots cleared and is still working on moving dirt around. I believe we signed the first building permit though. Maybe they may be starting construction on a foundation soon. This is 48 Taft Street. They're putting a garage in. There is wetlands, but he's got it pretty much rated like 105 feet away from their wetlands, and it's small enough that it doesn't need an ALDP. He has been doing a lot of work on his property though, but I think if it was all at once, it would have required an ALDP, but it's doing it piecemeal. 90 Hartford Ave South, this is kind of near Upton Ridge, but it was not near the wetlands. This is also a garage that's going in where the stakes are. 14 Plain Street.
Is that a driveway going up to it too?
Yeah, well, I was standing on the driveway. So,
Oh, this driveway is already there.
yeah, driveway's already there. Yeah. 14 Plain Street. She's removed, this is Kathy, she's removing a bunch of walnut trees and then they're pretty close to the wetland. So like 7 trees she was pulling down. They're over her shed and I don't know, she didn't really like walnut. I don't like walnuts either, they cause a lot of trouble. Always like seeding themselves. For Brookside, which has an approved pool, I just hadn't been there in a long time and they're very slowly working on it. The wetland area where they had done grading looks like it's completely grown in, just, I don't know that they seeded it, it's kind of stabilized on its own, so it looks good. 63 Menon Street, he put a pad in. This was for that huge RV shelter. He seems to not have gone very far. Again, the wetland area, the soil area is stabilized, but I don't think he ever cleared out all that stuff he pushed towards the stream. It's still there under all the lovely vegetation. And hopefully this got cleaned out this afternoon. This is right next to the town hall. Red building there. He went and cleared out all that brush. A bunch of it ended up in the culvert. Dennis noticed it right away and asked me to contact him, and I called the guy twice and he's always like, oh yes, I'll do it right away. So that's what he said at 3 o'clock today. I forgot to look as I drove in as to whether he had cleaned it out. So that's pretty much it.
Your pictures are great.
Yes, very nice.
That's the question.
Across the parking lot.
Is he the owner of that building or is he a tenant?
Person I called,
Yeah.
I called the name that John, the building inspector gave me, that he knew. I think it might be the owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about.
I don't know if any-
Okay. What does he wanna do over there?
He was just, I think there was just a bunch of scrubby trees
Just wanted to clean it up.
that looked a little sloppy, but well, it's big enough work, he maybe should have contacted us, since it was right next to the stream. I mean, maybe we wanna go, we might wanna go after him for that, it's not, it was just a bunch of clearing, but it's unfortunate that he did get debris in the street, he needs to clean it up.
So it looks stabilized at all, is it gonna be a problem? It's all, so, yeah.
Well, it's the stuff that was in the stream, I think the soil above is okay. And Dennis was just concerned that if we got a lot of rain, stuff in the stream would end up in the culvert, it would be very difficult to eradicate. The guy in there.
Mary, did Dennis put the blocks in to make it so people can't back up into the stream from the parking lot?
You know, I asked him about that and I didn't ever hear a reply as to whether he was gonna do anything or what. And haven't followed up on. Did you talk about that at all, Bill?
Nope.
Nope.
Need a guardrail or a rock or something there so they don't. Back.
Just wait until somebody gets stuck and then.
Yeah,
Yeah, because when you drive up and over, there's a lip there, right?
Yeah.
And then if you drove over, you'd end up on top of the retaining wall.
Okay, foot slip
And
down.
you end up stuck, you'll be stuck.
It's way
I mean, it could be something as simple as those little reflective driveway markers, just to set off for the people who don't know how to drive properly. It sets off their camera and their rear sensing system. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't have to be fancy. That doesn't look beautiful. It'd be, a fence would look much more professional and better for the looks of the town hall.
easy. There's a violation when some of the cars in the stream.
Habitat.
Is there anything living out there?
I've seen a mink in there,
Good.
I've seen a mink, I've seen a muskrat.
We have about 5 minutes, so how about the administrative report? And the meeting minutes.
Screen real quick.
This is my first meeting as an associate, but I've come before for my own property.
All right, we can start with the minutes if I can find them. Oh, this looks a little weird, but so these were the minutes from July 23rd, which were passed around. Don't think anyone had any comments initially. Oh, this looks like the old version. 1 second. Here we go. I think I just had one question about a second on this motion. I believe it was Alan.
You can put it down as a second.
Pretty concerned about it.
As long as he was here, you can put it down.
Right. Do you want me to move on to the vouchers or?
For the meeting minutes, we have a motion to accept them. So how about, let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
Alan, I.
Sandy abstains.
Shannon, I.
My God.
Marcella, I.
Excellent. That's a majority of the commission approving them. Thank you, Lauren.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then this is the voucher. We've got 2 Koopman expenses, Mary's mileage, and then a water bill for the community garden. The total is $295.64. And then in addition to that, there was a Wex card expense for postage. This was sending out the order of conditions for New England Power Company. That was $12.14.
Okay, do we have a motion to pay our bills?
Second,
Let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
aye.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Shannon, I.
My God.
Marcella, I.
It's unanimous vote of the commission. Thank you, Lauren.
Mhm. And then last up is just the balance sheet. Again, not too far into the fiscal year, so not much has happened. And that's all.
The conservation fund.
Oh, we haven't checked on that.
I have not heard back from Kenny on several items, so he should be in tomorrow and Friday. I think that's regular for him. So I'll reach out tomorrow about that. So hopefully by the next meeting, we should finally know.
Lauren, and you know how to use Vadar well enough to check right now or no?
Not well enough to check, but I'm getting there. So hopefully I
Okay.
can figure that out on my own. I can do some investigating too.
I'm happy to help out if you'd like.
That would be
I
great.
have- Use Vader every day, so.
Well,
Good.
thank you.
Mhm.
Now it's just about 7:45, where we have cost benefit of town holding conservation restriction on town owned land by Sudbury Valley trustees.
Yeah, and Laura is on the call and she's just joining us as a panelist right now.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone. Tony Schiavelli is also should be joining, if he's not already in the ether here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to have this conversation this evening. Tony let me know that the Conservation Commission was interested in holding a conservation restriction if SVT does indeed purchase the Mackey property, which we're still hopeful will happen. And in fact, it was just approved by our board before we came onto this meeting, as was the Forest Heights project. So that's great. So I was interested in having this more general conversation with you because we're also looking at purchasing the White property in Upton, we hope soon. And, you know, obviously we want to do more protection. So I thought it would be worth having a conversation about kind of like the pluses and minuses of trying to go through the CR process or not. And it also allowed me to do a little more digging on my end. So in the information that I sent to Mike and Mary and Bill, I think you saw the first memo from Eric Minoyo, but I did some additional digging. And so just to make it simple, the fact of the matter is that it is true that when SVT holds land in fee, while our full intention is that it is conserved in perpetuity, that's what our board intends, etc. There is legally, there's a remote possibility that somewhere down the road that, you know, that could change. So absolutely your interest in holding a conservation restriction would provide that additional layer of permanent protection. We discussed internally like another way to go about it, like a formal letter of intention, things like that. But Tony is of the mind, I think, that, you know, if we want to do that, the conservation restrictions probably the best way to go. Like, yes, I can look you in the eye and say, I firmly believe that SVT would protect this in perpetuity, given our over 70-year history of doing that. But yeah, I can't say that there isn't the possibility somewhere down the line that something can change. And Tony, I don't know if you wanted to add something to that.
No, I think that's right. I think as a conservation organization, once we acquire the land, it's protected, but we're in the business of removing doubt, right? So if a conservation restriction will add another layer of protection and help remove a little more doubt that this land could ever be used for any reason other than conservation, then it seems to me we should take that additional step and do the CR. If everybody thinks that's what we should do, we can never. And by the way, even adding the CR, to be fair, even adding the CR doesn't absolutely guarantee that it's protected, because CRs can theoretically I haven't seen an example recently, but can theoretically be broken. But it seems to make sense that, we can do a CR. I would suggest that we don't have to make it overly complicated. We can just do a straightforward CR if we are successful in acquiring the Mackey property. And happy to draft that and get that around to everyone when we get to that point. But we have to get to the point that we own the property first.
I really wish there was a way, I was thinking about this today, that we could make it just one simple CR for all of these situations, but it just doesn't work that way. There are costs involved, but I was looking at that, and the costs on our end would be, Tony's time, our legal fees, recording fees, things like that. They're not too onerous. I think it's going to be a cost on your end to have that stewardship work in front of you. But I think you've been doing a good job of that.
Laura, I have a question. Where is the Waite property?
It's near, it's actually partially in, I'm forgetting.
Mendon.
Mendon.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's to the southeast, and it's part of the property will actually be in Mendon,
okay.
right off of Misco Road in
Okay.
Mendon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone on the commission have questions? Either Laura or Tony?
Yes, this is Mike. I'm just for Laura or Tony. Other towns where SVT acquires property, like this, do you go through the CR process for in other towns or not?
We have not been, unless it's like something we've been working on jointly to fundraise. We have many properties that don't have a CR on them, especially from, our early years in Sudbury, Framingham, Wayland, a lot of those towns. So we do own quite a few properties that do not have CRs on them. So part of it for me, when this kind of came up, just because of the way it came up, I was like, well, we really should think about this, because that would mean either we're asking for some compensation to cover our costs, or is there some reason that it would burden us? Mostly, I don't think so. And also just, I'm going to have us look at it as a larger policy issue for the organization in terms of trying to improve the validity of our conservation and perpetuity.
I have a question as well. So on the properties where you don't have conservation restrictions, are there documents that set out what can and can't be done on those properties?
We have management plans for our properties. And because as a conservation organization, I don't know if this is your question, but we don't say we can't develop it because we assume that we're not going to develop it. I don't know if that's what you're trying to ask.
Well, one of the things about a conservation restriction is it essentially says you can't do anything. You just have to leave the land alone, and then it adds back things that you can do, right? So you have a document that you can point to and say, you can do that, you can't do that. Right? So I don't, so to the extent, that's it. I mean, you just have this document that sort of stuff that does set out what you can and can't do. Which I don't, so on the properties that you do have where there's no conservation restriction, I suppose you could do things that some people may think, well, that shouldn't be done.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill, keep in mind, we're a public charitable corporation under the auspices of the Attorney General's office, right? And have articles of organization that state our charitable conservation purposes, right? So, I to your point, yes, there may not be clear documentation of that in every instance, but the articles of organization, our status as a charitable corporation under the auspices of the Attorney General's office does provide a significant layer of protection, right? Because if we were to do something inconsistent with that, that would potentially pose a real problem with the Attorney General's office, right? So, you know, keep that in mind. But again, if people feel comfortable with a CR as an additional layer of protection, I think Laura's saying, you know, we're okay with that. Certainly in this situation, because we have such a great relationship with the town and you guys, and I'm happy to, you know, to draft that and get that done. I just don't want to, I don't want to jinx the underlying purchase first. But we can definitely do that.
And we would have to go back to our board for that. But it's obviously doable. And we can talk about financing that. I think if we're going to be doing that more, we can look at different ways to finance it. I think more than anything else, as you know, it's a hassle at the moment with the way things are going with the state.
We want the CR, because I don't remember the conversation.
Actually, so what happened was, Tony asked me if the town wanted a CR. And my experience has been that we've always gotten CRs, so I responded yes.
Okay.
So that's how that came about. So you guys never made a decision about that one way or
Yeah,
another.
because I didn't remember it.
All right. Made that decision independently based upon prior
Okay,
actions.
okay.
So Laura contacted me and said, do you really need one or do you really want one? And I basically said, that's a question for the Conservation Commission. Hence, we're here now for you to make that decision.
Okay.
I felt like I was missing context too.
I didn't remember anything about it. And I was like,
With the part that's in Mendon or in another town, you said it's in another town, is it Mendon?
that's a different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different parcel that has.
Okay, so this part that we're talking about ends at the town line,
No. That's a different project.
They're
property.
two different properties.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I don't really have an opinion on it. If they've been doing this for a long time and they haven't done it, then I'm comfortable with that. I know they do it, but I don't really have an opinion on it, to be honest with you. I trust, you know, what they're doing, but I get it. I don't know what the commission feels like, but.
I think it's good to have an additional layer of protection because it's a belt and suspenders approach. As we've seen, many norms have been broken in the last 8 months. And I think it's good to just be ready for something that we can't anticipate right now, or we think would never happen under the, you know, auspices of common sense. So I think a belt and suspenders approach is good.
Laura, would a specific fundraiser to fund the CRs be appropriate?
It would be if usually what we do is when we package the project for fundraising. Actually, Tony, now that we're talking about this with them, like we could, you know, right now I'm happy to say the organization has funds to make this purchase. But in general, we're always going to do fundraising to make our conservation dollars go further. And we might be able to add to our fundraising to make this work with the CR. If the town has the ability to contribute something to that, obviously that helps.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this case here, that's just Sudbury Valley trustees will be buying the interest in the land. So, and they'll be protecting land in Upton. The interesting thing is we really, well, we've already offered to contribute $5,000.
Yes, I made that offer, Bill. Yes.
Okay, so we do have some skin in the game.
Oh, you
so-
mean for the transaction?
The survey. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in any case, the point being, in this case here, we do have some financial contribution interest in the transaction. Honestly, if SPT was purchasing the land without any,
Yeah.
they could, in my mind, they could do whatever they want.
That's what I was thinking, like, why did they?
Well, the 5,000 you're talking about would go to the landowner to cover his survey costs.
Yeah, I understand that, but if they decide to do the survey, if the money is for the acquisition of the property. And there's a, it's covering one part of that.
Yeah.
But I guess so in this case here, we do have a little bit of, we're contributing some money to the overall acquisition. If FCT was doing entirely independent of us, honestly, I think you could follow your normal practices.
And in fairness, Bill, you brought this project to our attention.
Correct.
You called me about this project, to be fair.
Right.
So I think that's another important point that, you guys should consider on your end. And thank you, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, your time and effort into this particular project has been extensive.
Yep.
So it's not just the funds.
So where do we go from here?
So we have it board approved to make the purchase. We don't have a board approval to gift a CR at this point in time. But first, I think, as Tony said, we want to cross the line on getting the property, and then we can pursue the CR.
Yeah, and we previewed the CR to the board. And Laura can correct me if I'm wrong. There's going to be no issue with the CR getting conveyed to the town at all. The only issue I'm worried about is I just want to make sure we get the underlying transaction done. And Bill and I have talked about some of the potential complications.
Right now, there's nothing to do. Right. Fair enough.
So
I think that's right. I think that once and I'm knocking on wood, once we acquire the property, then you guys can, vote to accept the CR. And we'll get approval from the board. I'll draft it, get it out to you guys, and I'm sure we'll get it submitted to DCS in good form pretty quickly.
Great.
So, any questions from the commission? We appreciate your time to explain all of this to us. And hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed. Then we can go step 2.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Okay, now we have a certificate of compliance for 8 Nisco Hill Road, construction of a single family house.
All right. All right, so this house was built quite a while back, in 2001, and I guess it's all sideways. This one still see it. And they were, at the time, the wetland line is back here. The limited disturbance was looks like it was about 60 feet away. And this is maybe looks like the 100-foot buffer. So they got a partial certificate of compliance back in 2001. And the main thing it said on the partial was that the soil was not stabilized behind the house. And they never got their final certificate of compliance, and the house is finally up for sale. So the soil behind the house, I went out to take a look at it. This is their order of conditions. And here's the backyard behind the house. Everything looks lovely. This is a well-maintained property. There are no encroachments into the no-build area or into the wetland at all. And so they're trying to close in about a week, I believe. They called me on Monday in a panic.
Just need a motion to.
So we just need a motion to issue a final certificate of compliance. There's no continuing conditions or anything. This is well before that. There were no bounds on this property. It's a long time.
Okay, can we have a motion to issue the full certificate of compliance?
I'll move.
Second.
That's a voice vote. Chris, aye.
Tom, I.
Alan,
Sandy, I. Shannon, I.
Mike, aye.
Marcella, I.
It's a unanimous vote of the board. Thank you. And so we have, how about signing documents? We have, the RDA, the determination to sign, and also this certificate of compliance.
Yeah, there's a lot of documents to sign. and Pass them around. There's 3 documents. First is the certificate of compliance. You guys can grab it maybe from over there.
We just look at it.
Bill, how many acres in the
No,
white?
it's 100 acres.
This is the determination for 25 West River that was approved.
Most of it's about the.
And this is the CR for Sudbury Valley Trustees for District 9 Schoolhouse.
Maybe 20 acres of land, maybe.
So yeah. The signature, oh,
Yeah, it's mostly.
maybe you, I didn't put this on the top, yeah, if you could put that on the top, that'd be great.
Just the one thing.
Yeah.
Mary, do you have to vote on that one?
On the CR, I don't think we need to vote on the CR. That's a, oh, actually, we do, let's vote, we do need to vote.
We always have to vote.
Yeah.
We love voting.
Yeah, on the 6-9 schoolhouse.
Yes.
Do it a second.
Okay.
Okay, let's do a voice vote on the District 9 schoolhouse CR. Press I.
Tom, I.
Alan,
Sandy, I.
Jan and I, sorry. I'm like, oh.
Marcella, I.
Okay.
This is quick.
No, I know.
Unanimous vote of the commission on the
You want to sign?
District 9 schoolhouse CR. How about our open space committee update?
I just, Tony mentioned we're still working on the much or the Stay Mountain Road property. I think the family is still trying to figure out exactly what it is they want to do, so we're not quite there yet. We have had some limited conversation with the personal representative for the state of the Lake Wild, the state that holds the Lake Wildwood land, but there's really been no movement at all on that. And I think that's it. Something else, but nothing in it.
Thank you. And how about our land stewardship committee update?
Well, we've been working on the Robertson boardwalk. I think about boardwalk's about halfway done. I'm gonna meet with Bob Hatch, possibly on Friday. Bob Hatch, if you remember, is the vendor, the person who built those fiberglass reinforced boardwalks. And Marcella and I, Mary and Owen were out at Haworth Glen yesterday. And we were kind of assessing access for horses. And one option to improve access for horses is to build a second crossing across Warren Brook. We already have this one boardwalk that crosses the brook, but I think the consensus is it's probably really not safe for horses. So we actually put up some no horse signs on each boardwalk. And the boardwalk's about 15 years old. And the decking doesn't look too bad, but it is 15 years old. So one alternative would be to keep horses off that would be to find a way for a separate crossing just for horses and keep the boardwalk for people. Another option would be to include the boardwalk for horses, and that would involve doing fiberglass reinforced decking. And so Bob's gonna come out Friday and he'll get us a cost estimate. boardwalk's about 100 foot long and about 5 foot wide. I think the structure holding it up is in very good shape. We're gonna look at that too.
Is that the one behind the Willie's house?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
what about the horse people, the group, can they contribute to this? or-
It's possible, yeah. I think we're just initially,
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, that's a good point. And I think we should ask the horse community if they'd be interested in contributing.
I think they actually contributed to the original construction. And never used it.
So the other thing we would do there is a section of that boardwalk where it's elevated more than 42 inches above the stream bed. And that from an OSHA standpoint, we should have railings, and we don't have. So part of the thing, spot too is give us the cost for adding some railings. And it's possible it could be CPA funded. Also. Like there was a similar project done a year or two ago that worked, and that was $5,000 was provided by CPA, I think, and the rest was inclined. So maybe Bay State. Which that wasn't. It's Bay State.
Any other questions or comments for land stewardship?
The only other thing I was, what Mary mentioned, Trailgate Bridge request for proposals actually gonna go out. We've probably almost certainly missed the fall construction season. But we can get it awarded and have it ready to go in the spring. That's out right now.
Excellent. That's a lot of excellent work. And how about Math Avon Forestry Survey?
Yeah, this came in the mail. I sent it to Chris and I forgot to put it in the packet, but I can put it on the screen. I don't know if you guys want to run through it. It's just talking about forest stewardship plans. We could decide to do it as a board or no, whether you guys want to spend time on that or not.
Is it an hour's job or a 5-minute job?
It says 15 minutes. I can pull it up. You guys can, or we can do it in another meeting. I thought originally there wasn't
Email
much.
it around and maybe we can.
Yeah, it'd be good to see it first.
Sure. Yep, I'll email it around. I can do that.
With our rough coffees.
Yep.
Now, for the fall meeting town warrant, do you have anything that want to add for that? Is it open on August 5th?
Next week.
I think it closes in September, the beginning of September.
Yep.
Got money on there? Do we want to ask for money? Oh, our money is stuff in the spring. Oh, guess not.
And for the associate member write-up, does anyone have questions? It looks very nice, Lauren. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we need to agree, and I'm just trying to pull it up, that the Board of Selectmen are the official appointing, or, you know, the official appointing person for that, or not person, but the body.
Authority.
Yeah, official appointing authority. I can share the screen now.
I was just wondering if the commission should recommend someone to the board, to the select board. I don't think that's in there right now.
All right, let's see.
But do we recommend people?
But we could, if we wanted, I mean, that.
Yeah, anyone could make a recommendation or apply.
Well, don't they usually just volunteer? Or we beat them into it?
Yeah, I think usually someone approaches the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't,
But so informally, sometimes the board does
needs
town
to,
manager
doesn't meet agree, yeah.
does ask for an opinion.
Yes, the town, they do usually ask us to talk to the person.
Yeah.
And that's more for full board members, but I feel like, yeah, so.
It's not really a formal endorsement, it's kind of endorsement. I just saw, the reason I brought this up, I did see a couple of examples from other towns. I looked,
How do they do it?
and both ways. One example, I'm gonna give, they didn't have any kind of recommendation feature, and another one did.
Yeah.
And this one doesn't.
Right, yeah, because originally it did say that the commission should appoint them and not the select board, and that was conflicting with what we were actually doing. And so that's why we're being asked to.
We're
revisit
appointed,
this.
right?
Right,
Yeah.
we're appointed. So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question, Mike. If we recommend somebody, let's say we don't all agree. Let's say it's 4-3. Like, then what are we recommending them? I'm just curious. I'm just kind of curious.
What happened?
Well, I'm just, my point being is,
He just wants to have a good debate.
no, I don't like doing things you don't need to do. So, I mean, when I was appointed, I believe I went to the select board. I don't know that I had a meeting here or not, to be honest with you. I mean, it was a lot of years, so I remember. But it was a pretty simple process. I kind of like that. So,
I mean, we can, if we really do not like the person, I don't think it would be appropriate, we can always write a letter to the select board and say. As part of your consideration, this is our thoughts, I mean, that happens.
sure, but again, back to my thing, if it's not unanimous either way, what do we do? Well, the majority think it's okay and the other don't.
As private citizens, we always have the option to write a letter to the select.
Right,
And say, I don't think this person is right for the position, or I think they are right for this position for
but
these reasons.
we're talking about a recommendation from the commission, not from the individual, the commission. That's what we're talking about. There's a big,
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel strongly that we have to have a unanimous decision to recommend someone. I think if someone wants to volunteer and they would naturally come to the board first and see what it's about. No one, right?
Karen, she's loving
We'll see
this.
really.
So, I don't know, I just wanted to bring that up, I don't,
It's a good point.
Well, I don't feel strongly either way, but
you know,
I just wanted to at least raise the question that. Some other commissions have inserted that extra protection, I guess I'd call it.
So actually, this actually brings up another issue.
Oh, Bill.
And this is completely, and this is actually, I don't believe the town has any bylaw that governs how the Board of Selectmen will evaluate their potential appointees. And this actually just came up because and I'm sensitive to this now because they decided not to appoint somebody because she wasn't a registered voter. But there is nothing in anywhere that says anything about one way or that, whether or not that's a requirement one way or another. And I think there's really nothing that says that you have to be a registered voter, you have to be a resident, you know, all the other things that you may consider if you were gonna make somebody eligible to serve on a board.
Right, and certainly being a resident, you would think.
But there's actually some boards where that's not the case because you're really interested in expertise.
Right, that's true.
Right. Yeah, I was just gonna think, I mean, we welcome anybody who cares about the environment here.
Right.
And their town, I mean.
And Marcel and I served on the Green Communities when we got all that. We had a high school student who was 17 and not able to vote at that time. And her contribution was invaluable,
Right,
and it was a hell of a learning of experience for her as well.
right, of course.
And actually, we're just talking about this in terms of interns for the Lakes and Ponds Committee, where we might have a high school student as part of an internship
Right,
serve on the board
right, yeah,
as a voting member, because that,
right.
again, that's why you get internships with that kind of
Exactly.
experience.
Yeah.
So it's actually unrelated to what the Conservation Commission needs to do, but it is, I find it kind of interesting. There's really nothing at the
Yeah, I mean,
select board
it's at
bylaw.
their discretion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's at their discretion, their total discretion, whatever, they can choose to use whatever they want to.
Unless the town voted on a bylaw that laid out.
Right,
Yeah.
so who's going to do that?
I went to GPT, I drafted one, either they or it or whatever it is. So I'm all set.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I have one question or comment, where it says required to attend a minimum of blank hearings. Do I have a number or a percent?
Think that was one of those things that Lauren had found on other towns. We didn't have it before, and I'm just wondering if we want to can it, because we've never, for our board members, had any requirement like that.
I'm not,
Then somebody has to keep track.
Right.
It's another job.
That's true.
I don't think that, I think if someone volunteers to be.
Right, I mean, obviously, if you don't show up for 6 months straight, I'm like.
Yeah.
But just participate as best as people are able to.
So it's actually, there's a problem with a different board
Okay.
where they had voting members who just didn't attend.
Right,
And they ended
that's
up with instances where there was no quorum.
Exactly, that's a problem.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. think that.
Yeah, not after here. I don't.
yeah.
Do you agree to get rid of that comment then?
We agree.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't really expect me to read that, do you? Did you send it out today? Can I
Yeah.
find it in my
It's in the
packet?
packet.
All right, I'll find it.
Let's see what page is it on. Anyway,
It's all right, I'll find it.
toward the end. I guess we can zoom in here. Oh,
I also have a question or comments.
but I think,
Could you scroll back down? Up, back up. No, well, just
sorry.
following the.
What about the term, 1 year term? Maybe 3, but that was another question. 3 years might be better. I don't know, all the like land stewardship is always a 1 year term. Concom board members are usually 3 years.
We're 1, 2, and 3, right?
And once you've got it established, it's 3 years.
Year 3.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I like the idea of it
No, I
being
do.
1 year. Cause then, you're not really like committing, like maybe they just wanna check it out.
yeah, it could be, it gives
You
you
know
a
what I
lot of
mean?
flexibility. Yeah, you
Learn,
can do
I
that.
like the 1 year, cause then there's no pressure, like, oh, I'm committing to something for.
True, an associate member is it doesn't have the same level of commitment.
yeah, but I mean, it's not an indentured servitude. You can
Stop
say, you know.
forever.
You know, just really isn't for me.
One of the things the old description write-up had on it, that we got rid of was, associate member may have a special project or an area of interest, and we just decided that we didn't really see people having used that. I mean, they might, and this isn't saying they couldn't, but it's not, the old write-up almost implied that they had to, so we just kind of.
You know, the one thing I add is, something to the effect, alternate members are encouraged to, join the, open space or land stewardship committee, if positions are available. Is that all right, folks?
Yeah, it's encouraged, it's not mandated.
Encourage very free cookies.
think there's a whole thing of ice cream in them. Left over from Joe's celebration yesterday. Anybody's hungry?
There was a lot of ice cream.
It was a lot of ice cream. Yep.
I consider it a quarter.
So flavors.
No, this is
And I believe the vanilla is here, the chocolate ended up with the DPW.
You guys got the good stuff.
Yeah, suddenly there was a big pile of cookies on my desk. Couldn't complain.
I think that's pretty much it for that.
So do you need to vote on this at this point?
Yeah, I think it would be good to vote on this. I know we had talked about it a little last meeting, but Board of Selectmen's office really wanted something definitive from us with the write-up. And ideally, they want this incorporated into the bylaw somehow, but we're starting with this.
Okay, can we have a motion to vote on this draft of the the associate member responsibilities?
Motion to amend it.
Second,
Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris,
Oh,
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Shannon, I.
Okay.
Marcella, I.
okay, let's unanimous vote of the commission. Thank you, Lauren, for bringing this up. And next we have conditions, land disturbance permit.
All right, we don't have to talk about this tonight. I threw it on the agenda because I thought it was gonna be a really low meeting, but it probably should look at these at some point. This is
Okay.
something that I put together. And you guys, I mean, I had emailed it around maybe a month ago, but this is our brand new permitting and these conditions are, yeah, so you can decide if you want to look at it tonight or another time.
Is it something that you could email around all of us?
It's
Yeah,
already
yeah,
been.
it's already
Okay,
Homework.
we can talk about it.
We can, yeah, I don't think it'll take too long to go through it. So most of these conditions either come out of what we do for our orders of conditions, or they're specified in the new stormwater permit law. So I basically combined those two things. And then got rid of anything that was specific to like the wetlands law. So,
This is what the land disturbance.
so this is for the land disturbance permit, and this is the permit that's kind of the bigger threshold, this is what we had Melody do. The over, 20,000 square feet, the one that requires a full stormwater review. This is what they get. So a lot of this stuff is basic, they're gonna notify us of transfer of title. Number two, any changes have to be reviewed to the plans, this is standard. The permit should be included in all construction contracts and subcontracts, all their contractors should know about it. The agent shall have the right to halt work on the site if work is not in compliance. This is pretty,
How much disturbance sets this in motion?
20,000 square feet,
So a little less than half an acre.
yeah. Yeah. And it must be recorded, and this is what brings it, a little bit more strict, it has to be recorded. And then, if the property is sold, they have to contact us and meet with us before they continue on with the work. And then, so this is kind of similar, some of this, now this stuff was in the stormwater bylaw with pre-construction meetings, that was in the bylaw. The limit of work, that's from our wetlands ones. Just giving the names of the people, that's pretty standard. Pre-construction meeting, This was in the stormwater bylaw, it asked for this. Now, this whole thing, number 12, was actually, I took pretty much verbatim out of the bylaw, and it's, to me, it seems, like a lot. A lot of inspections are required, so they want inspections. Okay, yeah, erosion sedimentation controls, we do that anyway, we do that, but then they want an inspection after the clearing is complete, after rough grading, after final grading. Before you put in your stormwater, basins, and then during the stormwater basins, and then after the stormwater basins, and then at the close of the construction season, and then the final landscaping. Now, so that's a lot of different inspections. And the way the stormwater bylaw is set up is that we can make them hire someone to do that, and then they report to us. Remember, this is for a single family home, and I feel like this is an excessive number of inspections.
Overkill for like a single family home.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. And so what I thought is, and what I even told Melody, I crossed off half of them and said, these do not apply to you. And I said, the law has them all in there. I think we could, as long as you guys are okay with it, and, crossing off the ones that seem like they're excessive.
Yeah.
And this is where maybe we want to work with the law, and maybe it's just too much.
So we wouldn't even be part of this if there were no wetlands involved, right?
So this is for properties that have no wetlands.
Oh, okay.
So
just
this
the
is for just a disturbance
Okay.
ordinance. So, and this is stricter than any order of conditions, right? And that's what, I think that's the funny thing about this law, is it ends up being stricter than what we require for a wetland filing. So if there's a wetland filing, they don't have to do this. Okay.
That's ironic.
So that part is a little, and I still have on my list of things to do, which I might get to now that we have Lauren here and it's been quieter, to look at the other stormwater bylaws around and see if there's something that's a little bit less stringent than this.
Yeah, it seems a little.
Just use your judgment, Mary.
Could you add a line that said something like, the commission retains the right to require additional inspections?
Yes, that's true.
For example, if there's a violation,
Yes,
going on and the applicant isn't really addressing it.
right. And I,
20,000 is the minimum, right? But someone could be.
yeah, well, because
Certainly.
Melody's project is big.
5 acres or more,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
you would want a lot
would
of
want-
inspections.
Yeah. we would want-
20,000 doesn't seem that big to me, to be honest with you.
I think you could also just put a line in there. You could leave all the inspections in there and say, you could put a line in there, some of these inspections
Maybe wait.
maybe
Yeah.
get waived. Exactly.
Yes. That's a good idea.
They're at the discretion of the.
Yeah.
So leave them all in and then just write this. Labor.
I'd be interested to see what other towns have, if it's maybe clearer than. Like, just like the wording, because I mean, you were reading that and I was like, oh my god.
Well, and I took this straight out of the stormwater.
Yeah, it's
I
all-
copied it.
So is it out of our stormwater bylaw
Our
or
bylaw.
the law?
Well, it's the regs. It's the regs.
The state regulations?
No, ours.
Oh.
This is ours. This is what we had to get. This is what the consultant put together for us, and then we passed a town meeting that. At first I looked at it, I'm like, this looks scary, but there wasn't much to actually fix it. It was a lot. So I think it needs fixing, but. This is.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, start somewhere.
And again, they're really geared to controlling the larger projects, right?
Yes.
No one's gonna hassle someone for, a
Half
single family home on a half-acre lot, that's not the intention. But it's to prevent bad actors, right,
Right.
from doing bad things on a much larger project. And then you need something like this that has some teeth, where you
Right.
can really put the screws and the scrutiny on the
Mhm.
project.
And it gets a little tricky, like, with the 15 West Main projects, those are all 3 single-family homes. I let them do it under an ALDP because he assured me he was under 20,000 square feet disturbance. But I think in the end, it's more than that, so. Or the way then he went in and he cleared all the trees, and I'm like, that doesn't look like less than 20,000 square feet. So it makes it, yeah. No. So, and then the applicant has to do his own inspections. It's kind of like a SWIC, so that they have to go out and do their own weekly reports. Yeah, and then expenses, so number 14, we can require them to pay for inspections. I guess I was assuming that we're not always gonna require someone to do this, but like for a larger project, we would.
Yeah.
I think we would definitely require them to do that, like we're doing for Visco Springs down in Highlands.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for a small lot, you might just require them to send you a picture. Right?
Right.
And then say, and if you find that people have been honest up to that point, then that's fine. But you know, if they send you a picture, you go by the next day and it's totally different, then you know, the next inspection is gonna be stricter or they might have to pay for it.
Right, exactly. So, and then number 15 is not, it's just something I put in that they have to have like a track map. And then this is from our order, the adequate erosion controls. And I depending on the size of the project, I put the minimum of 50. If it's a big project, they have to have 50. And just, this is from our wetlands orders too. If you need, that we can always tell them they have to have more erosion controls. That looks like they need it. And then we had approved this jute mat or the not using plastic mesh, or that one. And then the dewatering one is also from our wetland order. And the fill has to be, this is from our wetland order, what type of fill, clean fill, basically. And then they have to remove the erosion controls, and then this is specific, again, from the regs, that they have to submit a final report. They have to get their engineer out there. And they need to do an as-built, so it's an as-built in addition to a report. And then everything gets recorded. At the end, yeah, this last condition here, the operation and maintenance plan gets recorded at the registry along with and there is no certificate of compliance with these, we just send them a letter, but they have to go get the O&M plan recorded, which I think makes sense.
Mayor, can you go back up a bit?
Yep.
The erosion control must be removed. We'll provide a little bit of leeway there if. You know, something like a compost tube or.
Okay, right.
A straw wattle that can just decompose in place.
Yep, that's a good idea.
I mean, often you can probably. Would cost them less and be less damaging. Just
Right. Something about biodegradable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been encouraging people to use that as much as possible. So that's what I gave out to Melody pretty much, and that's what it looks like. The conditions.
One question, Mary, is looking at the screen at the upper right-hand corner, it says 105 Crockett Road.
Oh, yeah. So that's part of my template, and I should just say empty address, but
Oh, okay.
hopefully I remember to change it. So they're not for 105 Crockett Road.
Okay.
Along with the date down there, which says 2022.
Just makes those fields that are in the footer and header there, that pull from the first page where you type in the person's
Yes.
address details and then it.
Then it, with it, yes,
Pulls it in automatically.
That's a
that's a good idea. Lauren and I can, boy, Lauren's gotten really good at doing forms. Maybe she can help me fix this one. Yeah, this stuff at the top here. Yeah. So, yeah, and I do try to do a little a write-up for it. Describe it, which I think is invaluable when you're looking at it later. I think the hardest thing for me in looking back at old orders of conditions is they don't even say what it's for. They don't say it's for a single family house. You don't even know. You have to look at the plan. That's the only way you can tell. So. The notice of intent, that's what it's for, but the order doesn't actually have a spot for that.
Land condition number 4, which gives you a lot of power. Mhm.
And I think it allows, I believe, maybe it doesn't say that we're allowed to go on the site. Maybe I should make sure that's on there.
For inspection, so.
Yeah.
Hey, Alan, you wanna add, you know, work must may be observed by drone?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
it, I guess just,
Did you get a drone yet?
I don't have a drone, I don't have a use case.
This is great. Yeah, it's a nice job with this draft.
Jokes that you could go on the property, Ellen and I wanted to buy a drone.
Yeah.
Yeah, full understanding.
Passive.
Oh, I just thought of something that didn't make my report. There was a question about whether or not Melody Needham had gotten her general construction permit, and I went back and forth with her a little bit on that. It's the EPA, but according, they did get it. At least Mark Allen showed me proof that he had gotten it, so. So that's good.
You have any other questions or comments for tonight's meeting? Yeah, a lot done tonight.
Is she motion to adjourn?
Probably.
We're all just sitting here.
So moved.
She's muted, somebody mute her.
Mo-
I can read her lips. She wants a motion to adjourn.
What happened?
Something happened.
We can hear you now.
We can almost hear
Oh,
you.
now we can, you did yourself.
You muted
You
again.
muted, Chris.
You're muted.
This is like the meeting.
We're so
packages.
Okay,
Just-
anything else for tonight?
No,
No.
Okay, do a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.